Hi, I'm Trevor, founder of Hearts and Minds, the Focus 5 training app, and of course, the Get Mental podcast. On this episode, we featured one of my close friends and one of the most captivating stories I've seen in probably about the past 6 months about a young woman passionate about helping athletes out, passionate about helping her son out, and finding herself in an interesting crossroads of fear meets courage meets, do I have what it takes to step out in confidence and faith and courage? This interview, this podcast features Nicole Johnson, a elementary school administrator that takes a bold step of courage and has an unbelievable, heartwarming message. Unfortunately, we encountered a few technical difficulties on the audio on the back end of post-production. So just be aware, this isn't our typical release of a podcast because of the audio. However, the story is too powerful not to share. So that being said, we're going to hop right into this podcast and this episode with Nicole Johnson. To me, a hero in so many capacities, in so many ways. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. Welcome back to the Get Mental podcast, brought to you by Hearts and Minds, where we focus on helping athletes build confidence and consistency, largely through our Focus 5 mental training app. Today's episode is one that hits really close home to me, and it is because it's about courage, confidence, and the most important thing, it's about saying, why not me? I'm sitting down with a good friend of mine who has an incredible story. And after a youth parent football meeting, the coaches announced that they desperately needed volunteers. So at first, she brushed off the idea. And after having a conversation with her husband, he nudged her and says, well, why don't you do it? You know a lot about football. And then instantly something seemed to click. So she thought about it, leaned into the discomfort, and decided to just step up. So that decision changed everything. So in this conversation, you're going to hear about how one unexpected why not moment turned into one of the most rewarding experiences in her life, and what's it meant to coach as a team and as a woman in a male-dominated space, how she's found confidence and joy on the field. So her story is proof that sometimes these opportunities that scare us the most, they're the ones that actually grow us the most. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my esteemed guest. This is Nicole Johnson. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you, Trevor. That was a wonderful introduction. You made me blush a couple times on that one.
Let's go. So let's just start at the beginning. Like I want to just introduce again, like we've known each other a long time. We actually went to college together. And I was on Facebook, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I saw one of the posts that you had shared. But I guess I was so moved by it that I said, I'm reaching out to you immediately. And I haven't spoken to you in a few years at least, but I wanted to get in touch with you. So I guess share with the audience a little bit about, your background, I guess, where are you at in the country? Go for it.
All right. So I am an assistant principal at an elementary school in the Kansas City suburb area. I taught in the classroom for 10 years before I became assistant principal, and I taught first and second grade. I absolutely love kids. I love supporting kids. I have 2 kids of my own, and that's just where my heart is. And that's just where I want to give back to society, is like building up and bringing up children, because, they're some of our greatest blessings. So that's where I'm at right now.
Amen. And so you're assistant principal. So were you as a teacher in the classroom prior to this, or did you just hop right into administrative within a school system?
Yep. So I was a teacher at the same building that I'm assistant principal in for 7 years. And I've just worked my way up into leadership. I was on every committee. I did summer school admin intern for a couple years, and I just dove into it. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and it was like a calling for me. And I'm just so blessed that now I get to do that on a scale that I have 496 kids now at my school that I get to love on and support, and all the teachers I get to work with every day.
Wow. Okay. So that's where the heart comes from, of the desire to really step into this space and being able to give back and help. It sounds like that teacher's heart.
They were begging for coaches. I'm so much of a person, see a need, fill a need, that I was like, someone needs to do this. Someone needs to help them. And so that's why I reached out to my husband. And when he told me, why don't you do it? I was like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Well, that's actually a really great segue. So I guess, can you extrapolate on the version of what really happened? Obviously you text him, obviously, he replied, but I guess fill in our listeners. I know we talked offline, but fill in our listeners a little bit about like what really happened.
Yeah, so we were at the meeting. I texted him. He's like, I can't. I have this new job and these new clients I'm working with currently. I just don't have the time. And so practice, went on, and I went home and I was putting the kids to bed, and I was just really thinking like, there's girls on this team. There's quite a few, little girls. It's a kindergarten and first grade football team, and I was like, I'm a girl and I know a lot about football. I love football. My husband and I are watching college football and NFL every weekend. I was like, I could do this. And my heart was just racing thinking about it. And I was like, I need to do this. And so I messaged the head football coach for our division and the head football coach for the whole program. And I kind of like sold myself. And I was like, I used to be an assistant T-ball coach for 3 years. I taught in the classroom for 10 years. I'm assistant principal at an elementary school here in town. And I was like, I would love to help. And their immediate reaction was yes with exclamation points. And I was like, I could breathe. I felt like I was holding my breath to see if they were what they were going to say.
That's amazing. I love the fact that you sold yourself. You put yourself in you just put yourself out there and said, hey, take a shot on me.
Yeah.
Was that the first, that probably isn't the first time that you've done that in life either. I'm sure you've had some other moments of like throughout your journey where it's like you've kind of drawn from that confidence of like stepping into an unknown zone.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay. So I got to know though, you mentioned the girls on the team.
Mm-hmm.
What was their response to having another, a woman coach there? Like, how are you greeted? Like, what's the interaction like? How was that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess bring me into that space.
At first, I felt like they kind of were like, "Hi, Mrs. Johnson," because they know me from the community,
Yeah.
They didn't understand that I was there to coach. And then after I like stayed on the field, I wasn't like going away. They were like, "Oh, okay, you're here like to help us." And I have a great relationship with the girls on our team, and I tell them how wonderful they are all the time.
Nice.
And they just make me so proud.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, I'm so moved by just your heart of wanting to serve. Um, in our church, where my wife and I attend, there's a saying that they have that says, "Be willing to do anything, everything, and nothing." And
Yep.
it sounds like it's the same heart cry that you have, and what you see a need, you fill a need.
Yep.
All right. So, are you a high fiver? Or are you a fist bumper? Or are you a what?
We're fist bump. Yep.
Fist bumps. Okay. Do
Fist
you have any
bumper.
like secret handshakes now?
I don't. Maybe we should. We should get some.
I was at a workshop this past week here in the Houston area with a high school, and I had one athlete that he walked in and he's like, "Hey, you're teaching?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's very bold too. He walks up, "You teaching?" I go, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay." And him and I, we had a secret handshake before that session was even over and
I
the
love
teaching was over. And it's like, um, I sometimes take for granted like those little impact moments, but
Mm-hmm.
as I was, prepping for this, and I'm thinking of all the different questions to ask you, I wanted to know is like, okay, what's your coaching style like? Got to know.
Mm-hmm.
So are you okay? I got to know. Are you a
Mm-hmm.
yeller? Or are you like a quiet, confident, like, come on, like,
Mm-hmm.
how's your coaching style?
I'm the one that helps line up the team,
Okay.
because they're little. And so I'm in there moving bodies constantly, like, you need to be here, here, and here. And then I'm a big defense person. I love defense. Defense wins championships. That's my motto. And so on defense, I'm like, go get him. And I'm like, I point at players, like, who do you got? And they like point at him. I got him, or I got her, and I'll like tell them they're gonna get the ball. Like watch that person right there, and they do, and so they'll go after him, and I just love that part of the game.
That is so cool. So, okay, I think you kind of already mentioned it, but like go back to it just for a brief moment. Is like,
Mhm.
what was it like walking onto the field for the first time as a coach with your other coaches, with the other coaching staff?
I was crazy nervous. So I actually wore like a ball cap and sunglasses and tried to like blend in as much as I could with my hair in a ponytail. because I didn't want to stand out. That wasn't what I was here for. I wasn't here to like make a scene. I was here to help. And I remember like some of the men looking at me a little bit like is she staying? Because usually they'll help get the kids on the field, and then the women will walk to their seats. And I'm staying. I'm here. I'm here to help. And but they have been nothing but nice to me. I think
Right.
that first my heart was racing so bad, but they've welcomed me. And they're like, go see Coach Johnson, and let me be like a really active participant. I'm not just someone who sits on the sidelines. Like I'm in the game with the kids. And so
Right.
Coach Mick has just been amazing to work with. He's my head coach, and I'm just really blessed that he has just like taking this on with me and didn't blink. Like he was like, get in there.
So you're watching college football, NFL on the weekends. Have you seen
Hmm.
the Indianapolis Colts and watching what the one of the owners is doing on the sidelines?
Yes, the female owners. I'm
Yes.
like, get it, girl. I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
I'm I'm not prophesying your future, but like, hey, that keep working, right?
Why not, right?
That's really cool. When you are stepping into this like kind of unexpected role, but you see the need for it,
Hmm.
just for yourself. You're an adult. You're an administrator. You've been in the classroom for years. You've been no stranger of quote unquote the spotlight, the attention being
Hmm.
on you. But like, I would love to know, like, how has this impacted your confidence just as a human being and as an adult, being able to step into an arena that it wasn't foreign, it was just
Hmm.
new to you. Like, how has this affected your confidence personally?
I think it just brought out this like other side of me that like I'm that professional side at school, and like they know I'm the assistant principal at school, but like when I'm on the football field, I get to be a little bit more silly and goofy and hang out with the kids more, and I'm like, get them, and they like don't see that at school at all. So it's just brought out this like more fun but yet like loving stern side of me that I just think it's so fun. I almost turn into a different person. Like I'm not Mrs. Johnson anymore. I'm Coach Johnson now. And
Yeah.
it's just been so much fun. I absolutely love it.
So do you have any like special coach hat or anything that you hooked you up with of like Coach J?
So my husband actually, he's a big fan of branded bands hats.
Okay.
And so he bought me a green branded bands hat that says mom life on it.
Let's go.
And that's what I wear now. I was wearing a Smithville hat before that I got from school, but it didn't quite fit right. It wasn't my favorite. And so yeah, he went out there and bought me a really nice hat that's mom life, and
That's
that's
awesome.
that's what I'm representing.
Well, as you're talking, I know that you've sent me a handful of pictures to use, and
Hmm.
for those that are watching at home, some of these images they're popping up as you're watching right now. But I guess when you see yourself and you reflect on even some of the pictures of like, yeah, that's me there. Like, what's that like? What's that feel like?
Hmm.
What do you see?
It's kind of an out of body experience when I'm going back and looking at the pictures because I'm so involved in the game. I'm not really caring like what I look like and what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's actually very prideful too. Like I am doing this and we're good at this,
Right.
and I'm here for my son as well to show him like what strong women look like and what we can do, not only the female players, but the male players as well. And it's just been such a great experience to be able to like see our success as our team, um, and grow. We've grown so much since the beginning of the football season. It's amazing what these kids can do and how resilient they are. And it's just been such a great experience.
Hmm. That is really cool. So obviously, yes, you just mentioned we should have probably mentioned this at the front, but your son Nolan, he's on
Hmm.
the team.
Hmm.
Obviously, yes, you're serving two roles. You're serving mom, but you're also
Yep.
Coach Johnson.
Hmm.
I guess one of the questions I was thinking of in preparation for this is like your story is so inspiring in so many ways because of your willingness to say, why not me? If you could, like, what would you say to somebody who might be listening to this across the country? They have felt themselves a little nudge in the back of their mind. Could be a male getting involved with dance and recital
Yeah.
practice. It could be a female getting involved with baseball and t-ball. And like, it doesn't matter. Gender, stepping across those lines, it doesn't really matter. But like, if you, I guess, what encouragement would you offer to a parent they feel that little nudge. They feel that little bit of see a need, fill a need,
Mhm.
but they might be
Mhm.
scared to step out. What would you say to them?
Sure. Like I said, like when I was thinking about this, my heart was racing and I was almost holding my breath. And I would say, like, don't let that fear or your heart racing hold you back from doing something like this. Just jump in with both feet, and I promise you, you won't regret it.
Very wise. Wayne Gretzky famously said that you miss 1,000 or you miss all the shots that you never take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you're
That's
gonna
really good.
regret it if you don't. You know what I mean? Like if you've been thinking about it for years and you never did it, and you look back on your life and you're like, I should have done that, but you'll never regret jumping in.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So what about Zach, your husband? Obviously, he's
Mm-hmm.
cheering for not only Nolan now he's cheering for mom as
Mm-hmm.
well. I guess what's that
Mm-hmm.
experience like? What's what's
Okay.
what's the car ride home like now too?
So we actually drive separately because I like to get there early. And so me and Nolan are there early. And then he brings my daughter to come
Okay.
to the games. And he's there at every game, front row, on the sidelines. He's also there if Nolan is struggling, so he hasn't I can focus on the other kids, because Nolan is a first grader. He's 6 years old. So there's going to be some times where he, gets upset and that happens. And so he's there for him. And then he's also there for me to like support me and be there for me 100%. He's been just amazing through this whole experience, and letting me, do this and being one of my biggest fans.
Yeah. Okay. So where's your coaching career going next? I gotta know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it next year. So we have a
Yeah.
couple more games left, and then we'll move up to a different division.
Okay.
And I mean, as long as they'll have me, I'm gonna keep doing this, because I love it, and
What?
I want to be there for those kids.
Obviously, you're helping line them up. You're helping out with defense.
Hmm.
Are you involved with like drills or different footwork things? I guess tell them. I guess our listeners a little bit about the actual coaching involved.
Sure. So I have never played football. So I will tell you that I've never seen a playbook until this year. So that was really interesting. And now I watch football a totally different way now. And I love that. And so it's really great to like we share this playbook between all the coaches and we're looking and we're lining them up and we're talking about like what would be the best play next. And each practice we go over two or three different plays and we go over them several times with different rotations of kids because we let all kids play all positions at this age. We don't designate it like this is a quarterback, this is a center because who knows what they want to be when they get older. So I help with the offense too, and seeing a playbook was definitely really interesting to me. But I feel like I could definitely understand one now, which has been really fun as well. It's a whole different language.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have an amazing belief system and support system built in around the scene with the coaches, husband. Okay, gotta ask, what's Nolan think?
I just feel like he doesn't really realize it yet. That like,
Okay.
like mom's just out there. Mom's always around, because I am
That's
the
awesome.
assistant principal at his school.
Okay.
So he sees mom everywhere. But he loves it. He loves going out there. There's sometimes where another assistant coach and I will swap sides. So like he can hear from someone else
Yeah.
sometimes too. I think it's good to not just only hear from me, but hear from another coach and be coachable. And same with the other assistant coach's son. So we'll do that sometimes. We'll swap sides. So then that way our kids can learn from different people. And then we have a head coach who will call out the plays and decide what we're going to do. And so I think that's just been really fun and interesting and to watch him grow. He's a great running back. He's very fast, very agile. He scores lots of touchdowns. It was just been really, really fun to celebrate with him and see that right there live.
You sound like such a coach there. That's amazing. I love that. He's fast. He's agile. He can split the seam here. He scores lots. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
So we, with Hearts and Minds, we're always have our ear open to different stories and different things that people are doing that needs to be echoed, needs to be shared, needs to be broadcast on a much larger scale. And we as much hearts and minds, our mission, our philosophy, as much as we care about developing the mindset of an athlete from sports psychology and helping them be better, be more resilient, be more confident, be more positive. Instead of just focusing on that, we care a heck of a lot more about who they're becoming as a young person, the heart of who they are. And anyway, it certainly sounds like you're tapping into that with these young kids, and also with the coaching staff. I'm sure that they're also, being challenged in a positive way of like, they're also probably having to coach you in some areas. You're also helping coach them and how to work best together as a team. I really wish I could be a small fly in the huddle. I would love to. I would love to have you mic'd up. That'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Definitely.
All right. So next time we meet, I'm gonna have Zach, your husband, record. We're gonna get you a mobile mic. We're gonna have it synced up. No.
There's a lot of positivity out there. I think that's really important for those little kids right now. Is like, you're doing a great job. Great block, great run. Good job. Constantly, because they want to hear that and they need to hear that. So that's probably what you're going to hear.
Yeah. Well, let's get you mic'd up. Let's figure out a way to get that done.
That'd be fun.
If you were to sum this up, really the experience, being brave, taking chances, and really putting yourself out there. If you could really sum it up in a couple sentences, what's the biggest lesson or lessons that really embarking in this has really taught you, and how would you sum that up?
I just hope that everyone can see, who's listening, that anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and don't let gender stereotypes or walls or a little bit of fear get in the way of doing something amazing that you are meant to do. And like, literally just tell yourself why not, and jump in, and you won't regret it, I promise.
I love that. Sometimes confidence starts with just saying, why not me? Stepping up to the field, stepping up to the line, even when you feel uncertain. And when it comes to working with athletes, we're constantly trying to challenge them to be courageous and to trust their training, their preparation that's helped get them to that moment. Because I think sometimes we put way too emphasis on what other people think.
Right.
And my 2 cents, for what it's worth, being in the field is like of sports psych and mental training, is we care way too much about what sometimes coaches, what the outside influences, what the noise is constantly, how we're constantly being scrutinized and evaluated, as opposed to just line up, play the game, have fun, and work hard at it. And whatever happens. So anyway, I'm very moved and touched at this whole story and what you're doing, what you've been willing to even put yourself into the arena. And this is such an exciting story for me to be able to just share with you, and it vicariously through you. And I think the next time we bring you back, I want to bring you back with Nolan.
Yeah.
Be like, buddy, like, tell me about mom. Like, what's it like?
Yeah, he's a little ham. He would love that.
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you again for hopping on this podcast with me, and really just sharing a little bit about your story and about what you're doing there in Smithville, Missouri. Again, I'll put a few links in the comment section, and then for all the listeners at home, you can click in and you'll be able to see some of the pictures and some of the things that Nicole has submitted, or I should say Coach Johnson has submitted. Yes. So that being said, I just want to say thank you again for hopping on here with this podcast. And what an amazing reminder that life's best adventures often start with a simple, why not me? I personally love how Coach Johnson has stepped truly into something new, not just because she had it all figured out. It's because she was willing to show up, willing to take a risk. Sounds like willing to really advertise herself too. Like, that takes courage. And the biggest one is like being willing to learn along the way. And so many times with athletes, we're always talking about the growth mindset. We're talking about being gritty and resilient. And Coach Johnson, Nicole's story has really embodied that. And that's exactly what we do inside our Focus 5 training app. Confidence is not built on a single day. It's built in those small daily choices to act, to stretch, to trust yourself, even when you feel unsure. So if you're listening right now and you've been holding back on an opportunity, maybe it's time for you to say, why not? Right, Coach Johnson?
Absolutely.
So maybe it's time for you to step into your own growth moment. And if you want to have a daily way to train that mindset, please download the Focus 5 Mental Fitness Training app. You'll find it in the iOS and Android Google Play Store. 5 minutes a day, you're going to get stories, strategies, practical mental skills that you can use to become more confident and consistent in every area of your life. So that being said, thank you again for tuning into the Get Mental podcast. Until next time, keep showing up, keep saying why not, and keep building the kind of confidence that lasts.